In this video we're taking the ASICS Metaspeed Sky Tokyo along to a race to find out what it's really like. Okay team, welcome back to the channel. How are we all doing? This here is the Metaspeed Sky Tokyo, and like I said, I just took this to a 10k at Battersea and I really liked it. So how this video is going to work, we're going to go through the stats and features. I'm going to tell you the little differences between this and the Edge. We have already done a video on the Edge, okay, if you've not seen that. So what I've done is I've done a race in the Edge. When was that? Last Friday. And now I've done this race. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow this video up with a sort of comparison between the two. So there's not going to be massive conclusions in this video in terms of versus the Edge. I'm going to do that in a separate video. I'm going to let you know a little bit more information on this sort of cadence versus stride runner stuff. So in this video, we're going to be focusing in on the Sky and how it got on in that race and my initial sort of feelings and feedback on the shoe. Got all that? Good. So before we crack on, let's get the disclaimer done. Thanks very much for watching. I know it's a pain, but we do need to do it. Now, I do want to give a shout out to the guys at sportshoes.com and ASICS for getting me this shoe nice and early. This and the Edge came nice and early, and I really do appreciate that. And the reason I appreciate that is because, as you probably know, or if you didn't, make sure you tune in for on a Monday, our live stream at 8 o'clock, because I talk about it a lot. I'm still hunting, or have been hunting, for my Chicago Marathon race day shoe. And when I saw the press release about these, I got very excited. I mentioned it in the Edge video because they sort of tweaked these a little bit with the introduction. They've got the Leap foam in here. We'll come on to that in the Flight Foam Turbo Plus. But they've also bulked up the heel a little bit, made it a little bit wider. So that gave me a lot of hope that I may be able to use one of these in the marathon. Which actually brings me on to the stats and features. So this shoe is £220 and it features the Flight Foam Leap, that's the white coloured sort of foam, and that's on the bottom. And then we've got the Flight Foam Turbo Plus, the more yellowy colour, on the top. The shoe has a 39.5mm stack in the heel down to 34.5 at the front. That's a 5mm drop. Well done for everybody who worked that out. This is a UK 9.5 and it does fit true to size. It's coming in at 174 grams. We've got a full length flat plate versus the sculpted plate on the Edge. We've got the Motion Wrap 3.0 up and we've got ASICS grip on the outsole. Now coming back to the Flight Foam Leap, that's an ATPU compound. Now ATPU is a microcellular aliphatic TPU foam produced using aliphatic TPU as the substrate with the clean supercritical carbon dioxide as the blowing agent to form a large number of microcells in the matrix. Now this compound is, firstly, it's apparently clean and environmentally friendly, but we've got a much better sort of cushion performance from the shoe and resilience versus the Pebax foam that's in the Flight Foam Turbo Plus. Got all that? Let's take a closer look. So like I said, the Sky has like this flatter shaped plate, okay? The Edge drops down here. We've got a much more sculpted plate in that shoe. And also with the Edge, on the bottom part here, we have the Turbo Plus. It's the other way around. So on the top, we've got Turbo Plus, and on the bottom, we've got the very bouncy, very soft Flight Foam Leap. Now that does make a big difference in the ride for me, and I'll come on to that. There's your Motion Wrap 3.0, and that's it versus the previous version. There's hardly any differences in terms of the outsole. Laces are still the best in the business. I want you to look at the widths in the heel, okay? This new version is a lot wider in the heel, and it's also a lot more built up, which is good news. Look how much that's sculpted out in the midfoot. See that? Which has made this a little bit more forgiving. Okay, so the 10k race, I put the splits and all that sort of stuff up there. The time's actually irrelevant to me. It's more how the shoe felt, and that's what we're going to focus on. So for me, the Sky is definitely more suited, I think, sitting here for the 10k race. This Flight Foam Leap, which is this new compound, just felt so bouncy underfoot, but working very well with the Turbo Plus on top. And because we've got that plate running through it, it just felt amazing. I really felt like I could carry a lot of speed with the shoe, but more like gliding along like that, where with the Edge I was sort of bouncing off of it a little bit more. This, I just felt like I was like in cruise mode. Now don't get me wrong, I was still blown out of my rear end, but this just felt a little bit more effortless is the, I suppose effortless is the only word I can think of. But yeah, effortless at those faster paces. It was a much more rewarding shoe and much easier to hold that faster pace than the Edge. And I think what that's telling me is that this shoe is more set up for me for the half marathon and below. I don't think I'm fast enough, and I'm going to say this again because I said the same about the old version, to run the Sky in the marathon. Now I know there's the Ray coming out, which is like the top end shoe from ASICS, which has got full length leap in it. And I don't think there's any shape or form that I could even contemplate taking that into a marathon, because I don't think I could take this into marathon. And this has got the Flight Foam Turbo Plus on the top to try and blend some of the instability out. Because this thing, if you are back here in the hill, is wildly unstable. Despite the sort of built up hill area here, yeah? This has been improved massively versus previous version, but because you've got a much softer foam here, it sort of doesn't make any difference. If you are a heel striker, this shoe is not for you. If you are a heel striker, you need to buy the Ugiri. But going back to this is a brilliant shoe for me, like I said, for half marathon and below, because I just feel like this leap foam being so soft will not sustain the sort of efforts that I'm gonna do when I'm into the marathon at the sort of end of that race, when I'm just broke and I'm feeling sorry for myself and everything's going, well, tits up. I don't think the Flight Foam Leap's going to be my best friend. Where with the Edge, and we'll come on to that in the next video, I think we'll be a little bit more forgiving. And I'll explain that in that video. So make sure you subscribe, okay? We're trying to get to 22 million subscribers, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. But yes, I like this shoe a lot. This is a fast feeling shoe, yeah? And actually suits me better than the Puma. Now, I like the Puma, and I ran the Puma Fast R3 at 1 or 2 races, can't remember, and that's a fun feeling fast shoe. But this just works me a little bit better because it's a little bit more built up in this sort of section here, so that works a little bit better for me. So if you can't get on with the Puma because it's completely nuts, but nuts in a good way, then this is one to think about. This is a lot of fun, this is a fast shoe, this is a light shoe, and this will make you feel like an absolute hero when you're running in it. But you've got to be properly on it, okay? And that's my warning to all of you. If you slightly pronate, slightly heel strike, you need to stay away from this shoe, okay? You've got to literally be like here, okay? This will reward you from here down. This will make you feel like an absolute pro. You'll feel like sub-elite in this shoe when you're like here. But if you go back here, well, then you're going to feel like I do at the end of a marathon, i.e. not very good. So yes, I had a great time in this shoe. I felt like an absolute pro. I felt like an absolute weapon of mass destruction. I ran my little heart out. I had the best time ever in the Sky. It's definitely my pick for the 10K and below, but I'm really, really reluctant to take it into like sort of half marathon distance. Because for the half marathon, I'm probably swaying towards the edge, but I don't know, right? Maybe if I was running a fast half marathon, this is the way to go. Could be, right? I don't know. Actually, yes, probably is a good shout. And I'm going to do a little bit more thinking about that. And we are going to test these shoes at the half marathon distance. But yeah, I'm going to do a little bit more thinking about that, because maybe this is the shoe. If I'm going for a half marathon PB, for example, later on in the year, this could be the shoe to pull out. Maybe that'll be a little bit more rewarding, where the Edge will be that shoe that can hold the pace a little bit better. I don't know. I'll think about that and I'll let you know. So look, that's my initial feedback on the Sky, the Metaspeed Sky. This is a fast shoe, people. This is great. They've improved it, I think, with the introduction of the Leap. They've improved it because they built out the heel a little bit more, but it is still unstable in the heel, okay? So just be aware of that. This is a soft, bouncy foam in the heel, and if you are a heel striker or mildly pronate, then you need to avoid this, okay? But this is a fast shoe. It's a fun shoe. I think people are going to run PBs in this. The ASICS grip does a great job. Motion Wrap 3.0 is just the best. And Adidas, if you're watching, these laces are what you need in your shoes. £220 is a load of money for a running shoe, but in the scheme of things, it's not badly priced. And I go back to my point, people, join as a FORDY Runs affiliate member and get 15% off your running shoes at sportshoes.com. You must do that. But there we go, that's it. Okay, so the next video coming your way, right, is going to be me comparing the two, the Edge and the Sky. I'm going to go away and think about them. Now I've done races in both. I'm going to go away and I'm going to think about it, okay? I'm also going to tell you the difference, because this apparently is for stride runners. So as you get faster, you lengthen your stride, versus the Edge, which is you get faster by increasing your cadence, okay? But I'm going to explain that and whether that actually works in real life for like everyday runners. I'm going to explain that in the next video. So make sure, seriously, you do subscribe and watch that next video, okay? But that's it, team. Hopefully, I've given you some value in this video. Maybe I haven't, but that's my experience post-race. We have done a race in this racing shoe. Let me know in the comments, are you excited for these shoes? Maybe you've even got them by now. Let us know in the comments how you're finding them, and I'll catch you all later.